Welcome back to Leon's Homegrown. Today we're going to plant some onions. So what I'm going to do is I've got the onion punnets here. These are an heirloom variety. You can see just there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to split them up, and I'm going to do that right here while I'm sitting down instead of doing it down there and hurting my knees. So what I did want to talk to you about before we get into that is basically my planting times here. So I'm in southeast Queensland. It's subtropical, but it can change a lot in subtropical regions. So there's a lot of areas classed as subtropical, but temperatures are quite different. This week has been probably the first week that we've had temperatures below 30 degrees, so that means, what is it now, 26.3 degrees. So doesn't happen that often in our summers, so we make the most of our autumns. Now we do have a short autumn, so people are thinking, oh, are you planting these stuff too late? You know, you can't plant that at that time, and it really depends on your climate and where you are. What I have been doing lately is planting to a moon calendar and a 5-season tropical subtropical guide. So the moon calendar is basically one of these here, and you just turn the actual dial for the new moon. Then you have your date section, or you can get that somewhere else. You have your date section to where to put it in. So at the moment it's April the 28th was the new moon. So put that onto April the 28th there, and then it's going to tell you when not to plant and when to plant. It tells you what you can plant, but you can't really take that as gospel because obviously it could just be all out of whack. So you go from this moon guide here, which is what I've been doing lately, and this here, which is a subtropical 5-season guide. So in it's got a long summer, December to March, a short autumn, April to May, and it's got a short winter, June to July. In the back of it there, it's got a short spring, which is August to September, and then you've got a spring summer, which is October to November. So you've got five seasons there instead of our normal 4. So basically, yeah, it's just changed with that particular area, and then you've got edibles that you can grow all year round. So I won't zoom up on that in case it's copyrighted or anything like that, but that's something that you could get for your particular area. So you get a cold climate, subtropical, tropical, and it'll tell you what you can grow. But remember, it's all just a guide, because things just change. I know I'm close to the Sunshine Coast here. I'm just west of Gympie. It's probably about a 40-minute drive, and I'm at the Sunshine Coast. So it's not that far, depending on what side of the Sunshine Coast you want to go to. And I know for sure that the temperature changes are different between here and there, and it's probably around about 2 to 4 degrees hotter during the day here, and it's probably 2 to 3 degrees colder at night here than what it is in the Sunshine Coast. And that subtropical region is spaced out a fair bit. It goes all the way to New South Wales or northern New South Wales, still classed as subtropical, and then you're getting completely different rain events depending on whether you're at the coast or whether you're here. So that's why I'm planting when I'm planting. Obviously, it's just it's all a learning experience. This YouTube channel that you guys are watching, and I'm documenting. I'm also documenting for myself, which I've mentioned other times as well. Therefore, I can look back, like I can look back at the frost we had last year. We had that on the 30th of June. I can go back to my frost videos when it frost bit all my bananas down there, which were there to protect the fruit tree, so they'd done the trick. But anyway, I can go back that and use it as a reference. It's basically a gardening diary for myself and what I've been growing, what succeeded, what didn't succeed. So you'll find the last couple of videos in the last few days been sort of one a video a day for the last 3 or 4 days. So we've got a planting planting garlic, and then we've got a planting potatoes, and now we're going to have a planting onions. Anyway, so I'll show you what I'm doing in here. So basically, I've got this container here. Get it out there without spilling it all. So that's just a recycled mince container. No use throwing them away into the rubbish, so I recycle them and use them as little pots like that. And then I've got another recycled pot that brought some seedlings or something in there at one stage. So it's just going into the water there. You can see that level there. While I split the onions up, which I'm going to split them up here, as I said earlier on. So I'll throw that in there. Similar to the aquaponics, but I don't need to get rid of all the dirt off it. So these heirloom varieties I'm hoping will grow nicely. And also a lot of that guides are for planting seeds as well. These obviously aren't seeds, they're seedlings. So I'm let them grow. They were smaller. Let them grow so they've got to a decent size and got decent root structure. You can just see the roots poking out the bottom, which is good. Don't want to obviously overgrown there. So I've got this little pot here to collect my mess, and I'll just pull that out there. There is the root system there, if I don't make a mess everywhere. And I'm just going to basically get rid of the dirt. You can see there. Turn it around a little bit. Get rid of the dirt and just sort of gently tease the roots out, separate them. You will lose a couple, but if you're going to plant them all as one, then you're going to end up losing, obviously you're going to end up having heaps in one pile. And you can, there's the root system of that, nice and long, ready for planting shortly. And then I'll just throw that there into the water, keep it hydrated until I plant that. And just gently tease that root system a little bit. And doing it this way worked well for me last season, so just got to try to obviously make sure it's got a root system on it. And into the water there. Last year I did do it down the garden bed, and geez, I had sore knees by the time I was finished, so this year I thought I'll get a bit smarter and I'll do it up here. And there's another one. And out of that one cell I've got 4 onions. Anyway, I'll continue splitting them up, and then we'll get down to the garden and quickly prep that up and plant it out. I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so it didn't take too long to separate them all out. So now we've got my tray with leftover dirt from them punnets and all the onions. Smell very oniony, obviously. So this pot here without trying to make a mess everywhere. Should got myself another one of them. But anyway, all the onions are in there. You can see that. And the roots all pushed down into the water. The water level's not quite right. There's still a bit of roots exposed, which will be fine, but I'm going to add a little bit more. So while I'm preparing that other garden, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of worm juice out of the worm farm. And I'm just going to throw that into the water, and if they, maybe just throw it over the top. If they want to, eat up that fertilizer while they're waiting to get transplanted, that's up to them. Okay, let's get back down to the garden and start preparing the bed. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours. As you can see, it's afternoon now, so I've got myself a beer. And got these onions been sitting there for a couple of hours in that solution that I told you about. They're all looking nice. So we're going to plant them in this bed right here, which is next to the greenhouses. Let's excuse the mess and the construction, which I'm playing around with these ponds. That's another story. Anyway, we'll be video on that one. So back to this onion bed, which It's even got the sign there from last year. And I actually found a leftover onion, so I'm not sure what happened there. Grown by seed or self-seeded, but anyway, it's one left over from last year, but it's definitely not ready, so one can stay there as well. So it'll be a red onion. I did find that I forgot to harvest these potatoes here, so they've died back and grown back again. So it'll be very interesting to see what we actually find underneath there. So far, not much. Anyway, it's a little bit compacted, so I may end up having to dig that one back out, but we'll see. We'll plant this one up first, see how we go, how much we got leftovers. So basically, I've just given it a light weed, which the weeds there to come out of it. It's not too much. That happened because there wasn't enough mulch in this bed, and it's broken down. I find if the poorer your soil, the faster your mulch will break down. So if you're finding that you have to add heaps of mulch in there, it's just a part of adding the organic matter into your soil. So anyway, so I got rid of them, and it's only a small bed. The other garden's over there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to check how compacted this soil is. So basically, just going to put my finger down and go, yep, that's not too bad. I'll do it in a couple of spots. I know it's been raining, but the finger goes down there quite easily. So again, doesn't really need too much. So I'll get me fork. So he's going to come with me this time. So I'm playing around with this, but unfortunately I didn't get this tube over there in to go into the next one. And with that 19mm of rain, which I wasn't expecting to come down from the water harvesting system, and filled this one and overflowed into here, which now I just have to wait for it to dry out and let it level itself out. Unfortunately, I was hoping that project would be finished by now, but anyway, there's always something going on. Chicken's making a bit of noise there. That's the one from the last video from yesterday where we planted the potatoes. A bit better now, we got a little bit of light. We're going to use this fork. Probably not. Do have another fork around here. The one I've been using as a broad fork. There it is. And this bed's the one where we planted the garlic out. Video a couple of days ago. Throw that in there. It's nice and easy to find then. I use this fork here, which I actually got from the market. It was free. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. And as you know, I've just been using that basically as a broad fork. So it's a shame all that water, which finished filling up that pond and then filled up all down there, just started to sink in the ground, which will be all right because I'm going to grow an avocado tree here, so that's going to help sink it in. But there's probably maybe 500 litres or more of water that should have overflowed this one and down into the swale system. But anyway, so doing it one-handed again, just trying to show you how I do it. Just let you know it's not that hard. So basically, I'm just going to dig it up a little bit like that. Sorry if it's all shaky. That's all I'm going to need to do. I'm not even going to worry about them little weeds. Once you get mulch on top, it'll be fine. So basically just aerating it a little bit and leaving the biology that I've been creating in the soil alone. So not much. Sorry, little onion. Not much to do. It doesn't take long. Obviously we've had rain here in Queensland. I know some of my southern viewers are been pretty dry down there, but you're about to have a pretty good growing season anyway after you get through your winter. I know my mum's down south in Victoria and she's still picking broccoli and zucchini, all sorts of yummy stuff that we sort of got too hot here in Queensland, so I had to give it a bit of a break. But we can grow through our winter season. Hope I'm not boring you too much with this bit. Just want to show you, it doesn't take long. Okay, so that's basically all I'm going to do there. I'm going to leave this mulch in place. Oh, try to. I'm going to add a bit more. These are going to be growing a little bit different than, because there are already onions there, like seedlings. So I don't want to play around trying to put mulch in after I've done it. Just scattering that around a little bit. All right, I'll go get another mulch bale. We'll throw it on top and I'll show you how we do it. Now this particular mulch I'm going to be using from a bit of horse feed. Yes, I'll feed you soon. Just want to follow me around. So in the horse old calf shed, when I used to do calves, I've got all this horse feed that that my son and daughter-in-law were using for the horses over there a fair while ago, and it's not really that good now for the horses. It's dry, so it's not compacted or anything like that. But you know, it's obviously got a bit of mould spurs and stuff like that in it. So basically, just going to throw it into this bucket because she doesn't want it anymore. Obviously, she don't want to feed that to the horses. I said, "Do you want it?" I said, "Bloody oath I have it." Throw it into this bucket. If you've got like respiratory problems and stuff like that, then obviously wear a mask or something like that. I don't really have that much problems like that. Grew up on a dairy farm, so used to playing in the dirt. That should be plenty anyway. So basically just an old bin. Grab some of that, and we'll bring it up to this new onion bed. Yeah, I'll feed you soon. Eat the scraps. Alright. A fair bit going on around the place, but really want to get these seeds in. Or seedlings, should I say. I might try to set this camera up somewhere where you can see what I'm doing, and then I won't need to hold it and be all shaky. Okay. Alright, so hopefully you can see me alright. When we're getting this loosened, we're just basically throwing it back onto this garden bed. As you can see, I've done is broad forked it. I'm not going to add any fertiliser or anything to this one. I'm going to put enough there that weeds don't come through it. Sorry about that, rooster. As I said, if you got breathing problems and stuff, definitely wear a mask. The funny thing is, this loosen's not cheap. But instead of it getting thrown away, it's getting repurposed. Again, like I said last time, you need to sort of make sure that it's sort of crisscross so the moisture can get through it. Okay, sorry about that, rooster. Alright, well I'll move this down a little bit and you can see how I'm planting it. Okay, so pretty straightforward. All I'm going to be doing here is roughly doing my rows with it instead of digging a furrow and then trying to cover it back up and then mulch it, which is nice and easy to do when you're doing seeds and stuff. These are already seedlings, so I'm going to make it a little bit easier on myself. So they've been sitting in that solution there, and I'm basically just going to make a little spot, put my finger in there, throw the roots in there, and throw the mulch back up around it. It'll be a lot easier than trying to spread mulch around it later. So you're looking at around about 10 centimetres apart and then 30 centimetres for rows. That's what they recommend. But basically, you'll know how big your garlic's going to grow, and yeah, obviously, you don't want to plant too close together; it won't be able to grow. So, put your finger in, throw the roots in, and in like that. Even the small ones, throw it in. Alright, well, I probably don't want to watch me do all that, so I'll come back once they're all planted. Okay, so they're all planted out. Bit hard to see, but as they grow, you'll see them bigger. So ended up with 70 out of 3 punnets of the heirloom variety, the Australian Brown, and the Diggers Club. And I have decided that I will put a little bit of fertiliser over the top and water it in because that mulch is so dry. Here's some I've got pre-prepared. Same stuff, it's just like organic chicken pellet. Just lightly sprinkled over the top because I'm going to be watering this bed in anyway. I don't think I really need it because the soil wasn't great last time and the onions grew really well. Last ones I grew were a red onion. I'm going to throw that in anyway. So, trusty hose. And we'll give this, I've got a high pressure hose with a big pump on it. I think I've told you this before. If I can water the garden if I need to, quite quickly, because I've got the pressure. So the main reason I'm doing that is because when you do get a bit of rain and that, it's got to go through the mulch and wet that mulch first before it gets to the soil. The soil's already damp, as you saw. And for the last few videos, as you can see, most of the soil's damp, so I haven't actually needed to water it in anyway. Got little showers do it, and repurposing the old mulch that was already half broken down, almost compost. Already had moisture in it. So this one's dry because it's in the shed. So I'll give it a good water in. And yeah, while we're over here, I'll show you my little lychee tree under these bananas. Nice and healthy, eh? It's getting a bit of growth now, which is good. It's protected by these bananas. They don't like frost, and if you are planting a lychee tree, they don't like fertiliser. So don't plant them when there's going to be a frost, and don't put any fertiliser in the hole. I learnt that the hard way. And while we're here, I'll show you how my little bananas are going as well. Oh, a bit late in the season, so hopefully we don't have a frost this year. Now I've got a mess to clean up. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I really appreciate all the support. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you on the next video.